Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another very special episode here on the Beyond Sugar Freedom podcast. This episode is long overdue. I have had countless clients and followers asking me for updates on my pregnancy, as well as updates on life and my plans for not only this podcast going forward, but also for my work and my social media channels. So I thought, hey, let's record an episode that gives you all the details and updates as far as I know them at this point in time, so you can know what to expect and also get a little bit of an insider sneak peek into what's been going on with my pregnancy and some very exciting life changes that are coming over the next few months for me. So this is sort of the tell all episode, and really wanting to lay the groundwork and share with all of you what you can expect from me, from this podcast, from my social media channels, and for any of you who are my clients, wondering sort of what is going to be going on and happening there. So this is what's happening in this episode. So without further ado, let's get into this conversation and share with you all the behind the scenes, top secret details. Welcome to the Beyond Sugar Freedom podcast. I'm your host, Danielle Dame, holistic nutrition coach and speaker. Let's dive in. All right. So, as promised, I thought I would start this episode with the first and foremost burning question many of you are asking me. What's happening with the podcast? What's happening with your work? What's your plan? How are you going to continue showing up? And are you hosting programs? All the things, right? I know that I've alluded to and mentioned a few times on the show over the past couple months that I am planning to take a year off to transition into motherhood and to be present and ultimately practice everything I preach. The emotional connection, the presence, these things that I believe are extremely important in those first few years of life for a new human on the planet, and also for myself to really just go inward and enjoy and really soak in that time. So yes, that is happening come October when baby comes. There will be a major transition going on in my life, but that transition has already started, and I wanted to just let you all know what you can expect. So there are a few things that let's start with the podcast. Starting in July, I am going to be shifting the podcast to episodes every 2 weeks. So there will be less episodes for the podcast, but they're going to be just as amazing. And you're going to just be waiting on the edge of your seat every fortnight to listen to these episodes. So this will continue. And I want to make that really clear. The podcast is one of the two areas of my work and of the business that I will absolutely keep going. So the podcast is something that will be happening every 2 weeks, starting in July and into the foreseeable future, probably into next spring. Of course, allowing myself to come back full tilt to weekly episodes when the time feels right for me. And right now, I don't know when that's going to be. So really just allowing that fluidity. So it may be a year, it may be 6 months. We'll see, but I will, of course, keep you all in the loop. But that is definitely what you can expect from the podcast. And for those of you who are on my newsletter list, on my email, staying in the loop behind the scenes with me, that will also be shifting into bi-weekly. So slowing down, taking a few things off of my plate so that I can prepare for this year off that I'm taking. So those are some things that you can expect around the podcast. I'll be sharing some behind the scenes information for those on my newsletter. And I'm going to be continuing to bring you here on the show a lot of incredible interviews, as well as some of my episodes like this one that I'm bringing to you with my own little tidbits. I've got some exciting topics that I can't wait to bring forth to all of you over the next couple months, and some interviews that I've already recorded that I'm so excited to launch and to broadcast to all of you that I know you're going to love. So in the name of that, I also would love to ask all of you so loyal listeners, if anyone has any topics they would love me to bring to the show or any specific experts they would love to have me interview, let me know. Please send me a DM either on Instagram or Facebook, or you can email my team at support@danielledame.com. We'd love your thoughts, would love your feedback, and we can make sure that the next 6 months to a year is jam-packed full of amazing episodes for you, obviously far beyond that as well. So Podcast will continue shifting in frequency. This also slides into sharing about social media. So something that personally, to be honest with all of you, I really struggle with social media. It's an area that I know is really powerful and can be great for connecting with all of you, to sharing my wisdom, inspiring, all sorts of things. And at the same time, I don't want to be on social media. Full disclosure, I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I notice I notice I go through waves and times where I'm loving it and I'm sharing lots, and there's times where I just resist it fully. And that's still something that I'm navigating and figuring out. But I do know that, starting pretty soon here in July, I'm going to be shifting to posting less. So I will be posting less. I will be posting probably more updates about life and pregnancy and the transitions that we have coming up, while also, of course, still continuing to share content about the podcast, clips from the podcast, and other resources here as we slide into summer and then into fall and this massive transition. So there will be less happening on social media over the coming months. And of course, especially once I'm taking the time off next year, but my team will be continuing, to post content on my behalf. And we will continue showing up for you there on Instagram and on my Facebook channels as well. Now, in terms of my clients or people who are biting at the bit, any of you listening who are on wait lists for my future programs or my retreats, I will not be hosting any more of these for the foreseeable future. So there is no more live. I'm in the middle of my last program, my emotional empowerment program that I'm hosting right now. And I just hosted my last retreat, and I will be transitioning into not working, not taking on new clients. And this is it's bringing up a lot of stuff for me, to work on, because I love what I do and I love all of you. And I so deeply want to support. And I also know this is what I need to do to look after myself and to take a step back, to recalibrate, to adjust to this new life that I'm creating for myself, my new identity, and all the things that, are here for me to grow through that are going to come up. And I'm aware that that is going to be a big growth journey for me. So yes, it's bittersweet. It's really, really difficult. Two things that I will mention, because I do want to find ways to continue supporting, and the podcast is going to be a big piece of that. Also, the one area of my business and my support that I will continue is my monthly membership community. This is the Sugar Freedom Collective. This has been a community that I've been running for the last, 4 years, maybe longer. And it is a pod collection of all the incredible women who have been through my programs in the past that are still connected. We have 2 monthly calls, as well as a whole portal of resources for learning and growth and supporting each other, as well as a private community. So this membership portal will be something that continues. I will be hosting some of those calls. I'm not sure what that looks like yet. I will also be inviting in guest experts to take on some of those calls, especially in those first few months postpartum. But that is a community where I will be. That's the only place that I will be engaged. That and here and there on social media when I feel inspired to be really showing up. So that will be the place if anybody still wants my support or wants to stay connected with me at a more intimate level during this transition and during this next phase. That is the area, and I'm happy to invite anyone who even hasn't been through a program. There are a couple members in there who have not been through my programs that are there for the community support and for my coaching and the amazing things that we talk about and go through each month. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. Please reach out. Actually, I can also post a link below. I'm happy to open registration for that community to the public. Anyone who wants to come and join before I close things down. So you can stay connected with me at a more intimate level. So that will continue as well. So pretty much the podcast and that community. And then the other piece that I do want to make known, I'm working behind the scenes with my team right now before baby comes to actually transition my live group programs into DIY versions. So I actually have created that for the emotional empowerment program, the live program, group program that I'm hosting right now. And I will also be creating that for my signature Break Free from Sugar longer 12-week program. So I will have these programs as well as a few other DIY options that I have created over the years. I will be putting these together at a much lower price and having them for sale on my website, which I've never had before. So these, again, are ways that you'll be able to continue getting my support, continue working with me at your own pace, and really getting that support for any of you who are ready and willing to do that deep inner work around healing your addictive patterns with sugar and food. So there will be some ways to get support from me without me actually being there with you at the same time and place. So there will be lots of DIY options. I'll make sure that you're well versed, and those who, of course, are on my newsletter list, you will get first crack at these once they come live, and I will make sure that you have all the details about that going forward. So that's it. Those are the updates. If I missed anything, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email, or of course, send me a DM on Instagram or Facebook, and we can keep the conversation going. But I think that kind of lays it out in terms of, what you can expect from the podcast, around my programs, working with me, and how to stay in touch, obviously, as I make this massive transition. There's a lot happening, and that's really beautifully slides me into the next piece that I wanted to share with all of you, with some life updates and some also of what you can expect behind the scenes. One of the things that I'm very much looking forward to be like full disclosure with all of you, I'm really excited to see what happens from me taking a step back and getting a bit of a bird's eye view on the work that I'm doing, the way I'm showing up, how I'm working with my clients. There have been lots of obviously amazing successes that I've had, and I love the work that I do. And at the same time, I also know that there's areas for growth, that there's things that are starting to shift for me, and things that I'm excited to maybe do a little bit differently. And one of these being more in-person events. I'm really recognizing that being virtual with everything I do is not serving me, and it's not serving you and my clients at the same level as in person. So I'm going to be finding a better balance with that. I know that for sure, but I also have no idea what direction my work is going to take. I'm going to be really shifting majorly in my own growth and my own identity, my own role on this planet. And I do know that my business and the way that I show up and work with my clients is always directly mirrored things that I've gone through, or transitions and growth and healing that I've done for myself. So this is going to be a whole new phase of my work and of how I show up for all of you. And I'm so excited for that. And I sincerely hope that you all stick around for the ride. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I do know that stepping back from any project, any problem, anything that you're like in your life, right? Your day-to-day, your grind, your job, your relationship, like space, and really taking lots of space, right? I'm planning to take a year of space. Probably won't be that long because I'll get bored at some point and definitely want to come back. But I'm saying a year. I'm gifting myself a year. And it'll probably be less than that, realistically, knowing myself. So that space is going to be really uncomfortable for me. It's also going to really force me to reflect and see things that I haven't been able to see because I'm in the day-to-day. I'm in it, hosting my retreats, hosting my programs, posting on social media, recording these podcasts. So stepping back from all of that and just bringing some more presence into my gifts and my purpose on this planet and where I want to take things next is something I'm deeply excited for, because I know it's going to be amazing. Like I can just feel it intuitively. Like there's a big shift happening in how I show up in the world. And I'm so excited for what that looks like. And I don't know what that looks like. It's such a leap of faith. And there's like nerves and excitement, right? Nerve-sighted is my word. That is definitely showing up here. So a big part of this has to do with also our new property. So I can't remember if I've mentioned this on the podcast yet, but I've definitely posted about this on my social. I even posted a little video teaser reel of the dream property that we just purchased. So this has been years in the making. We have finally found our dream property, and I am just so deeply excited and honored to be moving in this August and to be starting to not only nest for baby time, but also starting to create this center for healing that both Ben and I have always envisioned. This property and land is is exactly what we've dreamed of. And it's going to be a space for us to grow into. And we already have big plans. We don't know when exactly, but we do know that we will be opening the space to others, hosting ceremony, hosting retreats, but also for ourselves to host retreats, to host medicine ceremonies, to host breath work, to host women's circles. It's a really sacred gathering place. And I'm deeply excited to continue stepping into my power and my leadership role in bringing women together to heal in different ways. And I cannot wait to do that in my own home, on my own land. Like the land is so magical. The forest is so magical. We will eventually have either a yurt or a dome on the property to do some of this work, as well as various places to sleep, as we expand slowly into being able to host retreats, smaller, intimate retreats, but beautiful retreats. And how that sort of unfolds and looks, I don't know. But oh boy, it's going to be exciting. So we're already noticing and percolating, already booking in some things for while we're in the house, already have some ceremonies booked. Things are really flowing. This space and the home itself is very much conducive to gathering and building community. And these are things that are so important to both of us. And we want to do more of in person and also virtually. There's positives and challenges with both. And yeah, we're just going to be along for a ride to just trust one step at a time and see how that all unfolds. So this is a little sneak peek into some of our future plans. Anyone willing to travel to Vancouver Island, this will be a space where you can come and either we can do work together in person, or, there'll be other people in our intimate community that possibly use our space as well to host their offerings. And I'm so grateful to know so many amazing humans here in Vancouver, on Vancouver Island, just the west coast of Canada here, that are doing some incredible healing and some incredible things, from sound healing to breath work to medicine journeys to dance parties and festivals, and just so much possibility here. And yeah, it's going to be an incredible journey. So this is going to be a lot of what I will be sharing on social media as we start to build our homestead / healing land space. Garden is first. Make that really clear. We've been hilariously arguing back and forth about what are the projects that our priority before baby comes, right? We're really only going to have 2 months, August and September, maybe like some of October, before we're hunkering down for baby. And we're trying to figure out, with all the like laundry list of projects that we have, between building our garden, building the sauna and spa outdoor area, building our little bunker houses for office spaces, little she sheds, building our outdoor kitchen, building our sacred fire ceremony space, building a yurt. Like there's a lot already on the to-do list, let's say. So we're having fun trying to figure out, okay, what's most important and what's first. And for me, that's clearly the garden. We do need to tear up a hole. Unfortunately, people that live in this place now let the old garden go, and it's completely grassed over. So we will be starting a garden from scratch, which will be beautiful. I'm having fun designing that and very excited to create that. So that's going to be a whole new endeavor. I've only ever really dabbled in gardening. I've never had a big garden space, and getting excited to figure all that out. We're going to learn how to compost. We're going to learn how to keep bees. We're going to learn how to do all sorts of things in that garden. So that's going to be a big, beautiful journey as well. Just that in itself. Anyone who has ever had a big garden knows how much work it is. And I'm totally up for the challenge. So yeah, little updates there for all of you. Well, big life updates. So things are transitioning in August. I am not doing any work in August. I'm taking all of August off from my work and my projects to focus on settling into our new home, unpacking. I am one of those very weird people that loves packing and unpacking, especially when it's my home. There's something I've already started packing. It's mid-June. I've already started packing. Our back hallway has a bunch of boxes already filled and totes already filled. As I'm like going about my day, I'm finding things that, I only use this at Christmas, or I don't really need that. This is for the winter. I don't need this right now. And I'm packing boxes. And for me, that's just such a fun process of like this excitement that's coming through for this next phase. And then I'm equally excited to move into our new home and begin designing it, like, where does everything go? Like, where do I put the plates and the cutlery and the cups? How do I design my kitchen? Right. And all the fun pieces that are going to come with that. So very much looking forward to that in August. And then I'll be back full swing September, wrapping things up, recording podcast episodes. I've got a lot of podcast episodes to record in advance of taking some time off so that you obviously have episodes to listen to every 2 weeks. And we'll go from there. All right. Last updates for all of you asking questions about my pregnancy. I know I've shared minimal, and that has not been on purpose. There's been a lot going on with last month's launch of my emotional empowerment program and the retreat that I hosted earlier this month. And I feel like I'm still in recovery from that. So by no means have I been meaning to keep the pregnancy a secret, but things are going well. And maybe that's part of it. I feel so blessed and so lucky to have had such a smooth pregnancy so far. I know many women have it horrible, and my heart goes out to you. I know many friends who've been sick the whole time, have just had so many complications and challenges show up for them. And I feel very blessed and lucky. Hopefully this carries through into birth. And it's been smooth sailing. I'm definitely starting to show. I do need to post more photos, so I will be doing that in the next week or two. I promise I'll post some belly photos for those who want to see them. I haven't taken that many. I need to take a few more. And definitely starting to show, which is really, really cute. And physically speaking, I've been a bit lower on energy. I mean, I'm also starting to notice, the physical pieces. I love running, for those who know that I do. And I definitely, I'd say the last 2 weeks really started noticing that I'm getting slow, and more like just heavier when I'm running. It's harder to get them moving in the way that I used to. I'm carrying more weight, and and the lung capacity, right? I'm really starting to notice that just now, that it's like harder to breathe. I climb a flight of stairs and I'm out of breath, which is just such a bizarre experience because I'm not that out of shape. I'm like, this is weird, right? I do not get winded climbing a flight of stairs. I'm quite in shape and healthy, but I know that's baby, right? There's a lot being smushed in there, and it's going to only continue to get worse for the next 4 months. So just starting to notice some of those things, starting to notice some hip pain. I had a bout of sciatica. I'm guessing that's what it was a couple weeks ago. It seems to have subsided now, so I'm grateful for that. I've been, doing my best to look after my body, eating as well as I can, not perfectly. I want to make that really clear. I have not been perfect. I've definitely had some sugar. I had some ice cream the other night. It was lovely. I really enjoyed it. But for the most part, really, doing my best to make sure that I'm starting my days off, having protein. I'm working at getting more and more bone broth into my diet, taking all my supplements, moving my body every day, even if it's just a walk. And I know eventually that will be a big transition for me, and a really difficult one, to be honest. I really, part of my identity is I'm a runner. I love to run, or I love to be able to do vigorous exercise. And that's just not going to be an option much longer. I'll get it back, of course, but it's a weird transition to really force me to slow down and focus on other forms of exercise. And I'm grateful that it's summer. I'll be able to swim, do some things that are maybe a little bit easier on the body with a baby, and lots of walks. So I'll be doing that. Starting also to notice that it's a bit more difficult to sleep. So finding new ways to sleep, even just being comfortable in bed, is something that I'm starting to have to navigate. I know many women use these pregnancy pillows. So anyone who's got a good recommendation for me, let me know. I'm going to have to look into those and start figuring out how to manage that, and how to support my body, and the shape of my body as it grows, and so that I can still get some good sleep. Because I hear that I'm not going to get a lot of that, perhaps, when the baby comes. So I want to get lots of good sleep now, as long as I can. And other than, things smooth, there have, of course, been challenges for me in the pregnancy, right? And one of them being that I will point out is I have had some bouts of really low mood and mental health. There have been some bouts of like feeling really low. They don't last long. I'm grateful, really grateful for that. I have not been extremely what people would consider hormonal in like crying for no reason, um, like up and down emotions. I felt pretty even keeled, hormonally, we'll call it, even though there's so much more. And I'm hoping that's a testament just to the emotional work that I've done and my connection with my emotions and how much I have processed and how I've created an environment for myself with minimal stress and continue to do that. That is a high priority for me during pregnancy and afterwards, is to keep my nervous system regulated. Again, this has not been perfect. Actually, even just yesterday, I had some major nervous system activation. There were some things that showed up in some personal relationships that were very triggering. And yeah, and I'm using the tools that I have to help regulate that. But keeping as low stress as possible is a major priority for me for the next year and a bit and onward, right? Continuing to use the tools that I have. So yeah, another challenge that I've definitely coming up against is just the start. The start. I'm not delusional. This is going to be just the start of a lifetime of really having to advocate and research any medical decisions that need to be made. There's a lot of stigma, there's a lot of judgment, there's a lot of pushing from the medical industry with certain things in pregnancy. And then afterwards, of course, as well, with pushing vaccines, pushing all sorts of stuff. And I'm already starting to face that now with things, and I'm going to do a post about this, things like the vitamin K shot. Every baby gets that after birth. Why? I'm such a question asker. What's in it? What's in the shot? Can I get a list of ingredients? And apparently, nobody has those. So these are red flags for me. And, not saying that this is a bad thing to do. It's just a matter of, I'm approaching having a child and raising a holistically healthy child with minimal pharmaceutical intervention is a bit radical in this day and age. And I'm going to come up against a lot of people who don't believe what I'm doing, who argue against me, or who look down on me for asking so many questions. But I feel like that is my job as this child's mother, to really advocate for informed consent. And unfortunately, I'm getting to see this firsthand that many of you already know in your own health journey, right? That there's not a lot of fully informed consent, right? Can you share these studies with me? Can you share proof of this thing? Can you share the ingredient list with me? Right? A lot of doctors do not have answers for this stuff, and we have to become our own advocates and our own researchers. So this is what I'm doing. There's actually two things. It's not just the vitamin K shot. There's another shot that I'm being told I should take because I have O negative blood. Any of you out there, mamas who have negative blood, you know what I'm talking about, RH sensitization. And there's shots that they give you. And this solves all the problems. Great. Well, I would like to know more about it. Why? What is the shot? What happens if I don't take it? What are the odds and risks associated with taking it and also not taking it? What are the different options? So there's so many questions, and most people don't ask those questions, right? We don't know how to advocate for our health. So I'm actually going to be recording a deep dive episode about this in the coming weeks. So about advocating for your health and about advocating and learning how to ask the right questions and do this research for yourself. So please stay tuned for that episode. I'm not going to go into that anymore, but these are just the start of some of the decisions that I'm going to have to make to weigh out the pros and cons and then decide and trust my own intuition and, obviously Ben's as well, decide what we feel is right for us and make that decision based off of exactly that, what we align with, what we believe in, what works for us, without letting other people force us or peer pressure us into some sort of decision, right? There's a lot of fear porn going on out there. My close girlfriend who's having a baby soon was told that if her baby doesn't get a vitamin K shot, it will die. And that's not the case. It's actually like 1 in 11,000 have complications with bleeding if they don't get the vitamin K shot. So there's just so much. There's so much fear porn being pushed out there by doctors, and we have to take our power back step by step in doing our own research and navigating those choices, and then respecting that each and every one of us have the sovereignty to do what we feel is right for us. and hopefully work with medical professionals who respect that. I'm so grateful that I have a wonderful midwife who is very open to answering my questions, helping me try to find things out, and respects that I get to make what decision works for me, and they will support that. That's really rare. And I hope more and more of us can get that kind of medical support. Another challenge, another pregnancy challenge. Very interesting to just sit and observe the weight gain. So this is a really interesting piece for me that's showing up, and I want to speak vulnerably to around body image, right? This has been really weird, actively gaining weight and getting bigger for a very healthy and important reason, but also getting bigger. This is one of the first times in my life that I've gained this much weight, right? Or I've looked this heavy. And it's weird. It's really bringing up some things for me, right? And trying to reconcile still feeling good in my body, still feeling, in my feminine, feeling sexy, feeling good in my body, while also actively gaining weight. My tummy's getting bigger. My thighs are getting bigger. My boobs are getting bigger. I'm noticing fat show up in other areas of my body. I'm just starting to feel bigger. And I know I'm going to get bigger and bigger. While also, of course, balancing, staying healthy, not getting too big, right? So there's that fine line, right? I don't want to gain too much weight. I want to gain the amount that the baby needs. So it's strange, and I don't have it all figured out yet, but I'm sitting with that. Like, as I'm getting bigger and bigger, I'm still struggling with reconciling that I'm still healthy and fit, and I'm still looking after myself, and that it's really important. This weight is obviously important for the baby. So I'm not restricting. I'm definitely not worried about it. I'm allowing. I'm not eating. I know that shows up for some women as they're getting bigger. Like, oh, I need to go on a diet, right? I don't want to get too big. I'm not at all restricting. This baby is getting all sorts of food. I'm eating a lot, and I'm just embracing that journey. To gain the weight that this baby needs. And I'm keeping track of that actually weekly, weighing myself. I'm gaining about a pound or two a week, which is exactly what they say is important to do. So that's kind of the benchmark, which is great. I'm right on track. There's nothing to worry about. Everything is healthy and looks good. And at the same time, it's weird. It's weird. It's really weird to see my body be kind of taken over from the inside, right? And to share my body with something else. And it's been an interesting part of the journey for me that I know will continue to help me grow and help me continue to build deeper love and relationship with my body, no matter what size it is. And even just connecting to this, like the magic that is happening inside my body right now, and the gratitude that I have for my body's ability to like do all the things that it's doing right now. It's wild. It's wild what it's doing. I didn't mention this earlier. I have officially started feeling kicking, which has been a fun experience. So this was about 2 weeks ago now. Feels like somebody is like elbowing me from the inside, which is really weird. I'm very grateful. The first time I felt it happened at like midnight. I was up to pee, and the middle of the night happened at midnight. And Ben was there to feel it, and he actually could feel it from the outside, which was really special. So that was a neat moment for both of us. And it's kind of cute to recognize that when it is bumping me from the inside. It's not too bothersome yet. Hopefully it doesn't kick my bladder too much over the coming months, please. But that's been really special and fun. And the only last thing that I wanted to mention just around challenges specifically and the things that I'm facing here, I mentioned earlier, heading into taking a year off of work feels really big and scary. My work and growing my business and supporting my clients and getting out there and doing podcasts and all this has been such a massive part of my purpose and my life and my identity for the last 8 years. And that's all kind of going to go away. And I'm nervous about I'm excited about that space and being present and just like enjoying my life and being present every day without having a schedule or really just getting to be in the flow, my feminine flow. But I'm also terrified about this massive shift in purpose, right? My purpose of showing up for all of you being now switched fully to my purpose of raising a human. And that transition, is something that I'm curious about, and I'm curious about getting support with. And I know I have some beautiful women in my life that actually work in this area, helping women transition into motherhood. And I'm so looking forward to leaning on them and getting the support that I need if I do need it, into that. But I just wanted to mention that, this is going to be, I know, and it already has been such an area of growth for me and healing. And I'm already noticing the nerves and the fears show up around, well, buying a house, a massive investment, starting this new phase of life, having a child, but also shutting down the business in a way, right? I'm really stepping back from my work and my purpose that has been my driver for the last 8 years. And what's going to fill that space, right? And how's that going to feel? It already feels weird. It's exciting, but also weird at the same time. And I kind of love that feeling. I'm going to ride that feeling. But it's bringing up stuff for me to work on. And, sharing this as I practice what I preach. Everything that we go through in life is an opportunity for growth and healing. And this is really, really interesting. One thing that I want to share with all of you is, as I've started even energetically stepping back, I'm starting to shut some things down in my business that you won't have noticed yet. Like in the back end, I've had to let a team member go. I've had to shift down one of my other team members into less hours. We're starting to peel back those layers to pull back a bit. And one of the things that I'm noticing energetically in that is, as I'm pulling back from, I'm not taking on any new clients at this moment, pulling back on a few things, I'm noticing some other opportunities already show up in my life that are, I know, a part of my future. So one of these being psychedelic journeys. So I know I've mentioned this in previous episodes that my husband and I both want to work more in the space and host and hold space in the psychedelic and plant medicine world. So some of these have been coming in. There have been conversations that have been poking up from acquaintances and friends who want to do this work together. And I'm really excited to invite some more of that in, especially in our new space, which is so conducive to this type of work and healing. So August and September, before baby comes, we actually have a few ceremonies booked in, which is really special. So it's interesting just to observe, when we shift energy from one area of our life, how it opens up space for things to show up, maybe in different ways and different directions. So I'm just going with it. I'm going to see how this flows and how this goes, and trust the universe, and trust, how this is sort of the next phases and iterations of my work and my passions and my gifts here on the planet begin to show up in different ways. So there you have it. That's the update. If I forgot anything, or if there's any specific questions about pregnancy that I totally forgot to mention, please ask. Yeah, I'm again just deeply grateful that it has been a relatively smooth sailing for the pregnancy so far, and hopefully into the future. Oh, this is another question that I've been asked. There you go. I knew there was more. Am I going to do a home birth? So ideally, yes, I would absolutely love to do a home birth. I would love to have that environment and really just be so at peace in my own space versus a hospital setting. There are a few challenges that are showing up for me around that. And I'm still actually specifically looking for a midwife in the town that I'm moving to. I will no longer be able to work with the midwife where I live now, because it'll be a different hospital that they will need privileges at. So there's a midwife crisis here. We need more midwives. There's a midwife shortage. We need more of them. So assuming I can get a midwife, that is the plan, to do it at home. I'm also aware that I won't know what is going to be best for my body and the baby until closer to. So I know so many women make these birth plans and get really committed to it and focused on it. And I hear how it never goes according to plan. And I know that with the world and the universe, make a plan and God laughs, right? They say. So I am also open to, I'm going to have a few plans. And I'm going to be open to not attached to any one way. I'll have maybe an ideal scenario, and then I'll have a scenario B and a scenario C, and I will be okay with all of them. And that feels really important to me, because change last minute when you're in labor and in the thick of it can be really stressful. But if I have my head wrapped around all the different options that might show up, the different ways that baby may choose to come into the world, then I feel I'll be a lot more able to stay regulated and just be focused on that process. So wish me luck with all of that. And again, any moms out there who have chosen to really go against the grain with raising their children, and especially around, the medical pieces and the pharmaceutical pieces. We also do plan to homeschool. There's a lot of things that we plan to do that go completely against society. And I think that's part of our purpose here. And I'm up for it. And I know some of you listening may totally not agree with me. And that is so welcome. I think we all should have the right to raise our children how we want and how we feel is best for them. And we are all doing the best, right? So yeah, any of you out there who have any tips for me or words of wisdom, please feel free to reach out. Would love to hear from other moms and other women who have walked this path before me as they navigate, the ups and downs and challenges that come with this beautiful miracle. All right, I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to my updates. And thank you for being here, continuing to listen to the podcast, continuing to support me in all the ways that you do, whether you've taken time to leave a review here on the show or sent me messages of love and support. I'm just so deeply grateful for each and every one of you. And I'm grateful to bring you all along the ride with me over the coming year as big things happen. And again, quick reminder, please let me know if there's anything specific you would like me to talk more about or bring more context to on the podcast, or any guests that you would like me to bring on. I'm curating sort of the plan and schedule for the next sort of 6 months or so. And would love your input in that. So just reach out, send me an email at support@danielledame.com or any of my social media channels, and we'll keep the conversation going there. All right, everyone, have an amazing rest of your day. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. If you're loving what we talked about today, please remember to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone you love. And if you're ready to dive deeper into discovering your root causes and patterns that are keeping you hooked on sugar, be sure to check out our brand new free workshop series that will help you kick emotional eating for good. Find the link to download this free series and other amazing resources in the show notes below.